and you insert them and pinch them between your butt cheeks.
Oh gosh.
All right, and then squat.
I didn't know I was so good with my butt cheeks. Walk me through what they feel when they partake in the ayahuasca, what it does to the body.
It's like you meet a spirit.
I want to be in control of my body and my thoughts the entire time. So in that experience, are you sort of letting go? And do you support biological men playing in women's sports?
I'm kind of like the red pill.
All right, Miss Jordan, how's it going? It's been a minute, right?
I know.
Why don't you tell everyone how we met?
We met at the wine festival. He decided I was the favorite person he met at the wine festival.
Okay, that might be a stretch.
No, we were waiting in line and we started talking. And I was standing behind you and I was talking about dating a homeless man.
Yeah.
And you turned around, your whole group didn't know.
Yeah, it sounded like
what?
an interesting conversation, so I just inserted myself in it.
Yeah, and then we became wine buddies.
Oh, and you had that big wine glass too.
Yeah.
And I was asking you about it.
Yeah,
because I had to
that's the VIP.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Which I have never heard of until I met you, so that's pretty cool. So why don't you catch us up on what you've been up to and your life?
My life. So this time last year I moved back from Mexico to New Mexico. I got divorced for the third time and the father of my babies, and I've since lived in Peralta up to Santa Fe, back down to Los Lunas so I could be closer to home. But raising twins. I have twins, and my son is nonverbal autistic, and my daughter has sensory processing disorder. So that in and of itself is a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And then I work, and my work is basically I'm a conduit for Source Energy. So I'm an ordained minister. I do women's empowerment. I do plant medicine. I do healing retreats, truth embodiment. Truth Unfolded is the embodiment retreat, so it's like a leadership training.
And so,
I'm all over the place. I speak on stages.
Okay.
I meet cool people at wine festivals.
There you go.
No, I human and I spirit. That's what I do.
So why don't you break down what you do in your line of work, just for people who aren't familiar with that type of thing?
So I like to say my North Star is to awaken humanity to an elevated way of being through connection, understanding, and inner truth. I'm kind of like the red pill. So if you've ever watched The Matrix.
Yeah.
So I wake people up, and not like this woke culture. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like you can do and be and have whatever you want in this life. So a lot of opening doors for possibility, connecting people to the truth of who they are in their expression and their perception of whatever divine energy. So God, spirit, universe, interchange the terms, but whatever your belief system is, I help you connect to that.
Okay, and I'm asking this because I think a lot of people might hear about what you do and think it's some kind of woo-woo-y type thing. So why don't you break down like what the experience is like for someone who wants to be a part of it?
I mean, it's a coin toss. I'm all across the board. I do a lot of public speaking and like motivational stuff, but I have a healing retreat, which is specifically for healing. That's typically themed. We've had sexual abuse experiences, narcissistic PTSD, PTSD in general. I do that. I also do leadership embodiment because I think that our world is lacking true-hearted leaders. So we work on abundance mindset, money mindset, that kind of stuff, but also where's your impact in the world? How are you giving back? What is your purpose for being here? A lot of people come to me, they think it is woo. They want to read the angel cards, they want to do the things, they want to do the plant medicine, and they want to get spiritual. My philosophy is we are not humans trying to get spiritual. We're spirits here in this human body for the experience of learning ourselves in form, and that's basically the culture of my work. I'm really fucking human, and I just happen to be a conduit for spirit.
And how would you define healing? What does healing mean to you?
What does healing mean to me? I mean, healing is relative. You can have had a severe traumatic experience as a child, and I can lose my cat, and we can be in the same amount of pain. So healing to me is identifying with what is holding you back from living fully out and meeting it where it's at so that you can move on or move forward or place things where they're not a blockade in your experience.
Okay, and talk about the retreats that you host. What is it like for the people who join it, and what do you hope that they get out of that experience?
You want to know a secret?
Sure.
I'm going to tell you a secret because it's you're going to have to pour me more wine for the secret, though.
Okay.
My girls are going to be so mad. I'm sorry, girls. I'm sorry. So we have a Fight Club
There you
secret. So at the retreats, thank you. So at the retreats, we do a lot of inner work. Sometimes we do plant medicine ceremonies. There's a lot of conversation. My retreats are all vegan, so I used to be a vegan. I'm not anymore, but I keep their bodies pure during the process. So it's very emotional. I do stuff where they'll go days without their phone. I'll do stuff where I'll uproot the entire retreat and move us to a completely different city in the middle of it. So I do a lot of disruption stuff so that people can learn to detach from what their expectations are, what they think the outcome is. It's like a lot of trust testing. But the secret is, and this is the most spiritual thing you'll ever hear, there's a game that we play at the end of every retreat. It's called Bum Darts. Do you know what that is? So I played it at holidays growing up in my family. I'm Italian, and my ancestors came on the bottom of the boat from Italy to New York. And they didn't have resources like cards and actual darts and things. So it's a game where maybe I should make you play it. Do you want to play it?
Sure.
Oh, I don't know if you can play it. We have the mics.
Okay. Well, how does it work? Why don't you explain first?
I feel like I need to show you. I feel like you should. I feel like this is off air. We should do it.
Okay.
Can we get a cup and 2 quarters?
I don't think I have quarters with
Well,
me.
they might.
Yeah, I can get you 2 quarters, just my face.
Perfect. Okay, so move on, and when they come back,
Okay.
you're going to be, this is Fight Club, though.
Okay,
So outside of
sure.
you and whoever watches this show, you guys can't speak about it.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's gonna see this.
Oh, I know.
Once it's on. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
and then they're in Fight Club. You
Okay.
know? They're connected in. It's like a resonance.
So what do you hope people get out of this? I mean, because this is a source of actual healing, right? It's not just you instill these words and actions in them and just whatever they walk away with. There is a purpose to this, right?
Yeah, so I don't like to call myself a healer. I actually have a really hard time with titles. People will be like, well, what do you do? Well, what is your... I am just a conduit, so I do speak life into. So it is just words, because we all have the tools and the ability within ourselves to create our reality. And so I'm an activator. If I had to define it, I'm an activator.
Okay.
I will invite you into your own soul so that you can move from that place and live your life according to that.
Okay. And
You're scared about the cup.
I am. I'm kind of nervous. So
Okay, perfect.
we got one
Can we
cup.
put
Okay.
one cup right there? One
Okay.
quarter would work. I need the quarters though. My mic's not attached. All right, are you ready, Gabe? Oh,
Sure.
okay. Where's that one? Where's that one? Thank you. Okay. All right, so you're gonna start right there.
Okay. Let's see.
You ready?
I'm mic'd up. So.
Okay.
All right.
Here's 2 quarters. This is very serious, and I tell the girls
gosh.
it's very spiritual.
Okay.
And I'll go into why we do this at the end. So you're gonna level out with the cup. Get back. Level out with the cup.
Like
Get your
this?
mic. You're gonna need to hold it because you're gonna
Okay.
have to walk.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
the
I
cup.
think it reaches. So.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. I don't know if it's gonna reach.
All right.
All right. You take the 2 quarters
Okay.
and you insert them and pinch them between your butt cheeks.
Oh gosh.
Oh, this is true. Do it. Do it. And you gotta hold them there. Ready?
I was not. This
You
is
were
not
not
on my
ex-
bingo card
It's
today.
not what you're expecting. Hey, listen, you said anything was game. All right, and now you have to hold them there, and you walk and you drop them into
Oh
the cup.
gosh.
You got it.
It might already be
You got
falling
it.
down.
Bum darts. Squeeze. You gotta squeeze.
I can't freaking squeeze my
and then
butt cheek.
the way that I do it is once you get over the cup, you want to inch your feet out a little bit. Inch, inch, inch. And release.
Oh, that was like 2 inches away.
Wait, do you still have one in there? Are we missing
Oh,
one?
I have the
Oh, you
other
have
one.
it in your...
Yeah.
No, you got to put them both
Oh,
at the
both?
same
Okay.
time. This is some friction. Come on, one more time.
All right. All right. All right.
You got it. My girls are going to be so mad because I don't let them tell anybody.
This is the most unique.
I mean, when you pay
Game.
tens of thousands of dollars for an experience, this is how you end it, and it brings you back to like your humanness. You know, you guys getting that?
I'm trying to figure out what
Okay,
purpose
now
this
go up
serves.
forward more. You gotta align
Okay.
your bum with the cup. All right, and then squat. Come on, you go, Jim.
Oh!
Yeah! Okay, so
got
if
it.
the cup hadn't knocked over, it's a plastic one, we'll give it to you.
Okay.
You would have been the champion.
Okay.
And then whoever, we're done. with
Okay,
that.
nice.
whoever gets to in the cup, then we have a playoff, essentially. You learn something new every day. So I do this at the end of almost every experience. The girls that have been with me before, they love it because they know it's coming. And we've been in like some like deep shit, like healing childhood trauma, like deep stuff, all week, and everyone's really tender. And I believe that play is one of the biggest healing avenues. And so the girls will laugh because I don't let them tell the new ones, and then the newbies find out.
Yeah.
But it brings them back to, and it de-pedestals me, right? Because I'm not a guru.
Yeah.
I'm a human girl just trying to help you. And so it brings us back to like an even playing field, because how do you not crack up? I mean, you gotta think like on the last night of a retreat,
Yeah.
if you're having wine, and I tell them after this whole experience, like, put these quarters in your butt and drop them in the cup.
So it's not just an exercise for your butt cheeks. There's a real lesson to learn from it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it grounds them back into, we're all humans. The only thing we have to do is eat, sleep, and shit. That's it. Everything
There you
else is
go, yeah.
optional,
Yeah.
And so it's good, because sometimes I'll get girls, and I coach men as well, but more girls, and I think I imagine they view me in like a certain light, and I don't want that. I mean, initially maybe if it gets you started on your own path, you're still laughing about the butt cheeks.
Nice. Yeah, that was the first time I played that, so that was interesting. And then talk about, so are you targeting people locally in New Mexico, or is this for everyone who is interested in joining it?
I work with women worldwide.
Okay.
So I take private clients one-on-one, and that looks like an entire year working with me. Some in-person work, Zoom calls, the whole 9 yards. And then my retreats are international, but I have a New Mexico women's event every year, which is what I talked to you about when I met you at the wine festival. It's called Become Your Truth. So this was our 7th Become Your Truth. That is a women's empowerment event. Anyone can come, but I did it for New Mexico women because when I started this work, it was like non-existent here.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
That's
You're
awesome.
still kind of red.
No, that's awesome. And just talk about women empowerment for a bit, because I mean, as we enter the new year, I mean, women empowerment has been a topic over the years that a lot of women want to expand on. So talk about your mission in empowering women through the work that you do.
Yeah. I'll talk about feminism a little bit. I would consider myself a feminist. I teach a very different philosophy than what the mainstream is. So what I have observed in the mainstream is women wanting to be equal to men in every capacity and or overpower them. And what I preach to my girls is like, that just causes the same issue and the opposite effect. So the femininity and the feminine work that I do, and where I'll call myself a feminist, is the goal is to bring balance, harmony, meaning primal instincts. You're a protector, a provider, a pursuer. I'm a seductress, a nurturist, a supporter. Those are our primal roles. And so I think that you can go into an empowerment space and like women's empowerment, but honor what your primal role is.
Yeah.
Right? I can seduct more than you. Right?
Debatable.
You can lift heavier than me. Debatable. That's debatable too. Well, once upon a time. No, but it's like there's not a need to compete.
Yeah.
So when you're empowering, like it's an empowerment and an embodiment of your full feminine form, which is, it is an equal strength. It's just apples and oranges, right? We don't have to outdo men, outwork men. We get to rise in our own unique powers and our own unique ways.
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up, because I think a lot of men, like you said, going back to our primal instincts, they think it's just a masculine thing, but it can also work on the other end, right? Primal instincts for females too. And it's just different aspects and different, different qualities that they bring.
Yeah, one of the things, and I'm a single mother, and I do work full time. But one of the things that I've really seen is like this, like women in the workforce and like not wanting to be at home cooking or not wanting to be at home with the babies. And I feel like it's such a disservice to women because the nurturing part of our physiology is literally a strength. We have the ability to, and you know, I raise special needs twins. It's a harder job than any type of anything I would ever do. And I want women to know, like, don't discredit that. Like, if you're a stay-at-home mom, or it doesn't mean that you're not empowered. It doesn't mean that you're not doing a great job at fucking life. You can go and be a CEO. That's fine if that's your desire, but you can be equally as strong in your primal role.
Are you saying that you're straying away from the traditional roles that we've learned, like in the Bible, like men are the providers, women are...
No, I'm saying I align with those roles.
Okay.
I align with those roles. Do I think that we have to enforce them? We're not going to get into any creepy like handmaidens tale shit, but I want women to know that you don't have to, like I said, outwork a man, outlift a man, you know, get a job over a man or get paid as much that doesn't necessarily equal empowerment. Empowerment is when you are true to who you are and when you are aware that my unique imprint on this earth, whatever it is, if I choose to continue to hold retreats or if I choose to stay home with the kids, it doesn't make me any less impactful. I'm just choosing that role, right? But what I'm saying is, like, in mainstream media and like a lot of through the feminist movement, it's like it's trying to. So they talk about the patriarchy like it's here, and they're trying to like flip it. And my goal is not to flip it. Like what I preach is to bring a balance, like bring a harmony.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of feminists, they have that black and white point of view where they have those roles, but you're preaching something different, right? That it's okay to still have that position, but to just embrace it as much as you can.
Yes and no. I think, I'm trying to think of an analogy. Like, okay, so they have girls wrestling now. I just learned about this. My best friend, it's her birthday today, by the way. I'm going to see her after this. My best friend is, her daughters are in wrestling. That wasn't a thing when we were kids.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's cool that they can wrestle the boys, but they also wrestle, but they don't have to wrestle the boys. Like, they can be in, like, an experience of their own sport with their own gender and still succeed and still be equivalent to. Right? Well, look at okay, like, so look at Holly. So Holly Holm. Like, right, she's in the UFC.
Yeah.
She's not going in there trying to fight John Jones. Of course, they're teammates. She's fighting women. Because and so she's participating in the sport and she's empowered in the sport, but she's fighting women. And is this making sense?
Well, let me ask you a follow-up question. Do you support biological men playing in women's sports?
I feel this is a hard one because I feel very pro everybody can be whatever they want. It's funny. So I'm a minister for Universal Life Church. The core values of that church are do no harm, essentially. And everyone can practice whatever religion in whatever way they want as long as it does not negatively impact another person. I think that if a biological man was playing a sport that didn't negatively affect a biological woman, that's totally fine. But I think if you're imposing on somebody else's, and if you're infringing on somebody else's right to be or to play or to whatever, then probably not. You know, and it's hard because I mean I'm okay with transgender. I'm okay with all of those things. I don't think that any person, whatever their choice is, should be able to infringe on somebody else's right. The same way we don't want somebody to be racist and we don't want somebody to do this or that. It's the same in the opposite. Like, you can't infringe on somebody else's. Now, I'm not talking about if men are making out in front of somebody and somebody is like a homophobe. Well, sorry, like, you're a big boy, you're fine, right? But if, for example, there's a woman, we'll take track as an example, and she's trained her whole entire life and she's going into the Olympics and she's about to run the 100-yard meters, and there's somebody that's physiologically stronger, faster, everything, because they're male biologically, is it then fair? I don't know. I would say no, but I don't, and this is a touchy subject because I'm very pro everybody being whoever they want to be.
That was a very good political answer. So props to you on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a hard question.
Yeah.
And it's hard in the work that I do. I'm very, I literally teach people how to ignite the truth of their soul. So if you feel like you're born in the wrong body, I totally honor that.
Okay.
It cannot infringe on somebody else's body, though.
And that's the main point, right?
Right.
As long as it doesn't infringe on what
Right.
people want to do.
Right.
And their rights. Okay. Switching topics just a little bit. Talk about your ayahuasca retreats.
Ayahuasca retreats. So I don't serve the ayahuasca.
Okay.
I've worked closely with the Yawanawa, which are from a tribe in the middle of Brazil, in the Amazon. They are a very new to first world experience tribe, meaning clothing is new to them in the last few decades. And I had the Yawanawa Page and his wife move into my home in Mexico with my former husband and my 2 babies and live with us for a little while and train me. And I've sat in many different cultures of ayahuasca. It was a really profound medicine for me, but I really aligned with the traditions and the ceremonial ways and the viewpoints of the Yawanawa. So I had them move in with me. We lived together for a while. I learned so many things. It was such great exposure for my children, I believe. And then, I would host spaces, and I'll continue to host spaces, and then they come in, and I still hold the field for the girls. So I'll take maybe less medicine than the girls do, but I go in with them.
And is it just for women or?
I've done co-ed as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done co-ed as well. So I just say girls because mainly I've worked with women, but I've done co-ed ayahuasca retreats. I did one for an entire family one time, so all the brothers and sisters came and everybody. But and then Tawati Yawanawa, who's the Page, and his wife Lydia, they'll lead the ceremony. And I really believe in plant medicine work. I think that I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes, heal scoliosis. I've seen it do it. I've seen a man who stood like this and sat in several ayahuasca ceremonies for about 4 months and then now stands up completely straight and is a world-renowned yoga teacher in New York. Wow. I've seen it happen. It heals depression. It heals addiction. It can heal physical ailments. Of course, Big Pharma will never let it into the United States, right? We're lucky that we've even got mushrooms and some little ketamine spots, but ketamine's very different because that's a chemical like ayahuasca's of the earth. So ayahuasca is, you know what peyote is?
What's that?
Peyote.
No.
Peyote, so peyote's from this region. So peyote, they use it on the Native American lands, and peyote is called the grandfather of the earth. Ayahuasca is the grandmother. So she's more Central and South America, but they work in unison. But it's a very similar experience. It's just kind of different how you go about it.
And so for someone who is curious about partaking in that, walk me through what they feel when they partake in the ayahuasca, what it does to the body.
So I tell people if they ask me about ayahuasca, first of all, it's funny that we're even having this conversation because I tell people first, if anyone who watches this is being called to her. Her is the grandmother, she's ayahuasca. If you're not being called, you'll never even hear. I was in this work for, years, and I never even heard the term ayahuasca until I did, and it was because she was calling me. And I tell people that once she calls you, it's not like taking a medicine, it's like you meet a spirit. She's the spirit of the earth, and so what it does to the body is, well, first of all, on the surface level, you purge, so you can vomit, you can sweat, you can poop, you can do whatever. But she heals whatever needs to be healed. Some things are not even in your cognizance or your cognizant awareness, right? So she'll go in physically and heal ailments, but also emotionally, like I said, addiction, PTSD, all of these things. The only thing that's the same about ayahuasca, it's so interesting that we're having this because I'm thinking about my son right now and autism. It's very similar. The only thing the same is that it's never the same. So not the same for multiple people, not the same even in your own experience. Every ceremony is different because she'll meet you exactly where you need to be met.
Have any of your kids tried it?
Have my babies tried ayahuasca? Yeah. I nursed after some ayahuasca ceremonies, not immediately after, But I mean, I'm sure they got remnants through my nursing. Although in the Yawanawa, they start giving babies like little bits and microdosing ayahuasca since they're 4 months old.
When you say nursing, what does that mean?
Nursing, breastfeeding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like a trippy experience. Like, how would you describe it? Like, is it similar to like doing psychedelic mushrooms?
So before I went in, I thought it would be like mushrooms, but it's so hard to describe. Do you know Sting, the singer?
Yeah.
So all of his songs were written off of ayahuasca, but what's so interesting is some of them didn't come to him till like 10 years later. So post ceremony, like 10 years later, he like remembered that he came up with the lyrics during his ceremony. And I mean, obviously he's like a very successful artist, right? You will still get trinkets of things years down the road. When you're in the experience, every experience is different. I've had some really hard ones where it's like a death and a rebirth. I lost a baby when I was really young, and I held on to a lot of pain. And during one of my purges, meaning I was throwing up, I literally like watched it leave my body. When I did my first ayahuasca ceremony, I was in a really abusive marriage. And at one point I was laying there, well, two things. So the first, when I was sitting there, I'm sitting in the jungle, it's the middle of the night, it's like a 10-hour trip, okay? I just remember laughing hysterically at like how much I don't know, like we are literally like these grains of sand. Like I saw like the full vastness of God and what God was, and it was just like completely overwhelming. It's just like whoa. Also, though, at one point during that ceremony, I was laying there, and I could identify everywhere in my body where I had been abused, and not necessarily like that he had hit or kicked those places, but like where words attached, where things attached. Like I was overweight at the time, and I could see the density in my body, like where I was holding abuse, and was able to release it. And so that was interesting.
That's interesting.
And those are only my experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk to 100 people and get 100 different.
And I think for people who are curious too, like I'm the kind of person where
That's how, because you have to go in, so there's no sex, no meat, no sugar, no alcohol, no substances, like
within
4 weeks before.
What? Oh, okay.
And then even like 3 days going in, they don't even want you to touch somebody. Like they don't want you to kiss your kid or hug your spouse or anything, because you're just going to be in your own energy. But she knows if you're clean or not. And if you're not clean, like, or if you have, I had a girlfriend that just sat in a ceremony and she's like, oh my God, that was horrible. And it's because she like was trying to not let go. And so I would say for me, the experience, if you just release and let her show you, run with you, heal you, work with you, then it's going to be a lot more pleasant than if you fight her, because she'll always win.
4 weeks. That's a long time to be abstinent.
Yeah, I was abstinent for a year once.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so like talk about the accessibility of that, because I feel like there aren't a lot of places that offer that. And you do this out of the country, is that correct? There's places in like California and stuff, but so I've done it in Mexico and Costa Rica. Mexico, Costa Rica, Peru, ayahuasca's legal. And here it's legal for like church purposes or for on the reservation. But they do it in Brazil, they do it in Costa Rica, Peru. I mean, you can do ayahuasca anywhere. I would say accessibility wise, Central and South America it's more accessible, and because it's more commonplace, and they're not anti-using healing modalities because they don't have the same big pharma issues we have here. Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up big pharma and plant medicine, because I just had a naturopathic doctor who works with plant medicine, because I feel like we're moving in a direction where the U.S. is embracing more naturopathic remedies and modalities, with RFK becoming the head of the Health and Human Services Department.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, so do you think that more and more people will come to embrace this? And what are the differences between turning to big pharma and big medicine and turning to more naturopathic ways?
My personal opinion is it's a direct reflection of how connected you are to spirit. Because I think if you're in a faithful space, you're going to align more with God and the earth. I think if you're in a fearful space, you're going to look for a solution to a problem, right? A faithful space says, okay, I'm sick. This is there's purpose behind this.
Yeah.
And although I want to heal, I'm going to trust in a healing that is like of God, not like a man-made pharmaceutical. Now, I mean, I'm not anti-doctors completely, but I am very pro plant medicine. One thing I wanted to say about ayahuasca too, and this is just my opinion, and it's controversial as well, but there are places to do it in the States. I don't. I will only do it where the vine is grown. So it's a vine and part of a tree and it's mixed to make the tea that is ayahuasca. And I think that it's almost like a reverence, like a respect, because it's meeting a spirit. I feel like when you sit in like a homeland where the vine's actually grown, it could be a completely different experience than, someone doing it in a yoga studio in Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the terroir of a wine is, right? Like there's differences in the region it's grown.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you plug where people can find you if they're interested in reaching out?
Well, if I have any followers after our men in sports conversation, it's themissjordan.com. Themissjordan.com, themissjordan on Instagram. I have a podcast coming out in January. Become Your Truth, the annual women's event, is in August every year in New Mexico. There are still seats open for that. And Instagram and then the website. The website hasn't been updated in a while. So if you have any questions, though, there's a link where you can connect to me on there. And that's it. The Miss Jordan, MISS Jordan.
All right, sounds good. Miss Jordan, good to see you again.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You have to look in the eyes. You're 7 years bad sex. I already told you. All right. Are we cut because I just spilled?
Yeah, we are.
Oh.